Hello, how's everyone doing today? So this is going to be a very serious video. I usually take a lot of time analyzing a company, finding stocks that I think are undervalued or close to undervalued, and I believe I found my next stock that I would like to invest in. So I want to share this with the YouTube community as well as the Discord. Uh, so, so what is this stock? First off, it's in the cybersecurity space. All right, this stock has extremely great, strong revenue growth. They're a cash generating machine. The only problem that I have with the stock is its valuation. Right. However, even with its valuation, it is still undervalued. Now we're in a very special time. We could be entering a recession. I think there's a 33 to 60% chance that we are. And yeah, let's go ahead and see what this company is. So if you guessed it by the picture, you're correct. This is CrowdStrike Holding. Okay. As of right now, it is growing at a 26.2 revenue multiple. Wall Street estimates believe that by 2027, the revenue is going to be $6.6 billion. So in this video, I'm going to be calculating the intrinsic value of the stock. We're going to be inserting it into our proprietary discount cash flow calculator here. We're going to give you the bull, base, and bear case, and we're going to inject it also within our brain machine and do a technical analysis support. By the time you leave this video, you will have a very strong understanding regarding what this stock does and what's the worth of it. So when we do an evaluation, we are going to neglect the 2017 year as the revenue is so low that it essentially makes the revenue grow even longer and more, which overvalues a stock. I tend to be conservative, so I'm going to start them off at 2018, and we're going to use those numbers and project them all the way to 2027, where Wall Street estimates are around $6.6 billion. Now, if you mind you, just a very quick disclaimer here, I've already done this, which is why I'm making this video. The revenue multiples even extended out to 2022, which technically would be around $2 billion based off of the end of 2023 of revenue estimates. It's still over 50% revenue growth rate, hovering around, I think, 48 to 60%, which is tremendous. If you look at the gross margins of this company, it is just becoming so strong. I mean, these are really great gross margins. And you can see over time, they've been developing themselves. And it wasn't until 2019, 2020, we start to really see the power of the cybersecurity system. If you go ahead and look at operating margin and look at the negative 171 all the way up to 2022, you could start seeing that the operating margin is going on the positive side, which is exactly what you want to look at when you analyze a company. Hell yeah. No, I really wanted to share with you this. This will be my next stock, and I'm looking at it, and I want you to put it on your watch list. And I appreciate it. Just hard work every day, baby. So the net income, the only story here is about the net income, and it's negative. But rest assured, if you look at the free cash flow, the free cash flow is actually positive. We're going to be neglecting the free cash flow here of 12 on the 2020 mark. As you can see, they're sustaining a free cash flow estimate of 30%. Meaning that if you take the revenue multiple of 874 and multiplied by 30%, you get approximately 262, which is right underneath the actual free cash flow of the business. Now, let me mind you, when we analyze the Clover Health stock, we tend to basically do a 5% revenue multiple, but this is the power of a subscription company. It's a SaaS. Now, same thing. We go ahead and do the revenue multiple for this number here, 1452. We multiplied by 30%, we get 435, right around the mark of the actual free cash flow. So right now, what's going on in terms of the CrowdStrike's revenue multiple? And you can see right now, we're hovering at around, I already told you, in the high 20 regions. What we found here in you remember that time, January and February, we found that the revenue multiple spiked up to 70x. Now, we might say, well, this is completely overvalued, even at 27x. But if you look at pre pandemic levels, it was already, even before the coronavirus, before um, the pump of stocks, such as with all the free cash that Jerome Powell has been printing. Actually, even before the pandemic, we start seeing a 70 multiple X revenue, which is another reason why I believe Palantir ended up going public, because it was a success of these companies, and also looking at Snowflake, that they're like, you know what, we're going to go in. I think this company is superb, and it's a little bit more further out, if I can say, than Palantir. It's growing more rapidly. Now, for people that don't understand, this is called the SAS Capital Public Index. This has nothing This is nothing related to CrowdStrike, but this basically measures, and I extended all the way to 2008, all the way up to 2022. And we graph this and we look at all the SaaSes of the world, and we basically see, on average, we take the SaaS revenue multiples and we see at what level you know, is the average SaaS value. And what this tells me is that if you look up 2020 here, which is right around the SaaS revenue multiple of 8, we can see that maybe we still might have some room to look forward to in the stock price dropping if this recession, like constricture of the next quarter GDP growth, we could see another down end here. Now, just to be very clear, if you look at the CrowdStrike stock here, we can see we have highs of $298 and lows of 150, and we're approaching a new 52-week low very shortly. And if you overall look at the stock price here, even at these levels here, the revenue was so tiny. If you look at in 2020, the revenues were completely tiny to relative to what the stock price was trading at, and still the revenue multiples were high. Now that they essentially proved themselves, I believe that if this does drop any more longer, I can't ignore it anymore. It will be so undervalued that once we get out of this funk of tech bubble crash, I think this stock is going to be a moneymaker. So going back here, we can see some more downward direction. But remember, even with this normal SaaS multiple at around 9-ish, we're still having a SaaS for CrowdStrike in the upper 20 region. So if you look at the subscription growth here, you can see that here, let me go here because it's not showing you the whole thing. There it is. You see how the revenue multiple went down here? That's what I was trying to show you here. And we want to see if it can continue going down. Now, if you look at the subscription customers, they're growing ever so beautifully. If you look and you add professional services, they're also growing as well. If you look at the revenue and gross profit, this is exactly what you want to see in a company. And the only issue is the income, which, again, they're growing at a rapid rate. Their free cash flow justifies this. So what are we going to do? We're going to go in and we're going to input Wall Street estimates of $6.6 billion for 2027. We're going to neglect the 2017 revenue and focus on the 2018. We're going to use the free cash flow, divide by the number of outstanding shares, and we're going to find the intrinsic value of the CrowdStrike stock. So let's do it such. If you want access to our intrinsic value calculation, you can find it at alstocktrades.com in our Mastering Stock Market course. We've been featured on Bloomberg, MarketWatch, NASDAQ, Benzinga, Yahoo Finance, and Yahoo Money. The platform speaks for itself, and the results speak for themselves for all our members securing profit. It comes with lifetime access to Al Stock Alerts, our private Discord. Now, let's get to work here. So we're going to go in, as promised. We're going to put in the number 2018 because we're going to ignore 2017. They had around $119 million. Now we're projecting that 2027, they're going to have $6.6 billion. Again, these numbers are in millions. And again, if you can estimate the revenue multiples that it's currently being evaluated at 26, you can see the price that is completely undervalued. In fact, I think the revenue multiples are going to be higher. So By doing this, you see this company is going to be growing at a 56% growth rate. If you look at it right now, it's currently growing at 62% quarter for the year-over-year growth, which is tremendous. Now, going back, we're going to bypass and we're going to ignore, like I stated, the free cash flow of the 12 because we know that they're going to continue now generating the free cash flow because they were building themselves up here. So we can neglect this and just focus on this free cash flow. By doing that, we'll put the number 293,441. We have an average free cash. Doesn't matter what year you place it in. You have an average free cash flow of 367 million. And now we're going to divide by the number of outstanding shares. What this does is projects 10 years out, discounts back at a 10 to 15% discount rate using a 2% perpetuity model. And when we do that, we see a stock price value where let me just show you. Let me just zoom out a little bit here so you can see more of this. You have a bear case of $396, a base case of $567, and a bull case of $865. So this stock is incredibly undervalued, even at its overvalued evaluation. Not really, because that's what a subscription company is. It's takes more of its money that it gets in, which is why it has a tremendous high free cash flow. Now, if you use our proprietary brain machine, and if you, let's say, look up Al Help, you again, this is our leading edge market analysis utilizing machine learning algorithms. We developed it. If you would like access, there is a 3-day free trial for the Al Stock Alerts to get you the Brain Machine, which is everything that we have here, including Brain Machine. And again, it'll be at Al Stock Alerts with the green line here. So we can go in right now and look up the price target for the help menu and look at what analysts think is the average price target for CrowdStrike. And you can see here, we have a target high of $330, our target low of $212, with a median of $275, with a consensus of $273. And you can see right now the stock, looking at that at 180, you can see that a 273 divided by 180, we're looking at a 51% increase just based off of these numbers here. And these numbers are just looking in the short term, as Wall Street is pretty bearish right now. So going further, if you want a little bit more information, again, this is all through the bot that we created. We can look up analysts on what they think about CrowdStrike. And you can see here that Jeffries hit him up with a 275. We got Goldman Sachs, 285. Market Watch here, the company, RBC Capital, 275. So they're hovering around this. But again, these companies have clients to please. They have clients to basically, they need to bring it. They need to bring profits to their clients. Now, a great way to gauge this is if you look up DCF, which is our automated proprietary DCF calculation. And if you put CrowdStrike here, you can see that the DCF says it's 189. And as it gets closer to that intrinsic value, it will constantly update based off of the stock beta. And that's ever so fluid. So this is constantly changing every day, every other minute. So it's important to keep checking it. Now, based off of my calculations here, I would assign by 2027, this number won't even, it'll be higher than this, the stock price, because then we would be forward looking into 2030, 2035. So I would say once we fix the inflation problem and Russia and Ukraine, all these issues subside. In fact, even if they don't subside, this is a cybersecurity stock. Again, it's those defensive staples that I'm looking at right now that I'm changing my investment thesis, but hinting towards more the tech side, just like Clover, right? And we'll always get a paycheck. In fact, from the government. And honestly, we on our private Discord here, we can do is we can go to we can search this channel here to look up any government contracts. I think it's under stocks here. And if we look it up really quickly, government contracts, and if we put up CrowdStrike, honestly, yeah, it looks like there is no government contracts. I assume that if not, this is not updated. Because if you look at Palantir, you can definitely see that there are a plentiful amount of government contracts. So we're going to see. Hopefully, they tap into that market. We understand that cybersecurity is something that this country is going to be investing in, and because the whole Russia hackers and all those things. So that's something that we need to take a look at. But overall, this is the analysis for the CrowdStrike stock. And if I were to put a number, I would say by 2024, 2025, this will be a $500, and $50 stock. Now, if you look at the actual stock price right now, if you put 550 divided by 180, that in fact, might as well just do the calculation right here. That's 370. It is essentially 200. So it's a 2x your money. So if you put 100,000, you'll double your money. So this is a double stock, and it's a safe one too. Now, again, if those revenue multiples drop, just like we talked about in the SaaS index that compiles all the SaaS companies, there seems to be a double bottom here support right around. Remember, 2018 was a terrible year. There's a double bottom support here for SaaSes, so they might level out. They might level out here as we just broke this level of support right there. So that's why it's dropped. So if CrowdStrike can go lower, hopefully make a new 52-week low, that will be amazing. Then that'll amplify your returns. But this is something you want to keep on your radar. This is a great stock. Now, just very quickly, just to look at the support and resistance, because I promised you that. First off, we can go in and search the institutional ownerships of CrowdStrike. We got 21% increase. We can go in and take a look at the support and resistance levels of CrowdStrike. And we can do the minute, the hour, the day, and the week. So if you look at the minute, not so much, as there is a support level here, 180. If it does break it, we are in a downward trend. So if you were to draw a trend line here, we are going downwards. Likely, if you go to hourly chart, we do have a support at 172. I'll be looking at this because I do think there could be more downturn in the market. I think that if there is a bounce off of this, we'll see how that's sustainable. But these are the levels I'll be looking at, 156. As you can see, there's a lot of, there's a bottom, there's a bounce, a bounce here and a bounce there. There's a lot of support at $156 region. And if you go to the day, you can also see this $156 region is a very plentiful support line. And you can see the price is starting to head down that direction. Now, if you go down to the week, if we do somehow break this level of support right here to $150 region, your next level would be 132.98. Now, I doubt we'd ever get to these levels, but if we do, that's when you can start saying, well, this is starting to become a 4x, 5x, 6x stock. And again, I just gave you the base case. The bull case is 865. If we end up going back to the revenue multiples of how they used to be, let's say at around 60, it was more. And you go ahead and do the value of the stock now. So if you do 60 multiplied by the $6.6 billion that is it's going to be worth in terms of revenue in 2027, you can see that the stock is going to be trading at $396 billion. It's currently trading right now at 41 billion. You divide that by 41. That's assuming the highest multiplied by 180. You can start to see that the highest, if we do get into a fusion frenzy, the stock could be worth $1,738. Now, if you say, you know what, I think the revenue multiples are going to stay the same, It's going to hover around 30. You could take 30 times 6.6, which is trading at 198. Then you divide out by the current revenue multiple here. Sorry, the market cap is 41. And you multiply that by the current share price, you're looking at an $869 stock. And that's exactly what we have around there. So you see how the calculations work in your favor? So this is a stock that I'm looking at. It's on my watch list, and I'm eyeing it like a hawk. Okay. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking, hitting that notification bell. We do offer a 3-day free trial at Al Stock Alerts. We've been featured on a lot of the major news outlets regarding our impressive platform that is democratizing financial information, and it is very affordable, under $10. So am just very excited to see this grow in our members and the mission that we have. So it was a pleasure and honor. I'll see you guys on the next one.